Good morning, everybody. My name is Deborah Byrne from Deborah Byrne's Psychology Services, known across social media as DBpsychology. So today I'm going to talk about this week's blog, which is affecting change in your life. Now, why did I want to do this? I wanted you to understand that by understanding the stages of change, we can use them to our advantage. We can, we can think of that information as power, but information can also be empowering. So it enables you then to take control of your life and to make the necessary changes or push through on changes that are already happening. When you understand where you are at in those stages, you can then push through, or you can continue on knowing that, okay, I can accept that this is going to happen. I know that this is going to be a problem, and I can anticipate it, and then I can go forward from there. So let's very quickly talk about the stages of change. Stages of change would be, there are 6 of them in all, and that psychologists have come up with. And the first one being status quo. And that's the stage where everything seems okay, but there can be a little bit of something needs to change, but then you're drawn back into the comfort zone and everything seems to go along for another little while. The next stage is actually a very, very important stage. It's probably one of 2 vital stages in these stages of change, and that is called, the stage 2 is called the foreign element. And the foreign element is when somebody or something happens. They introduce the need to change. They introduce, in fact, the awareness that something needs to give. You become aware that some part of your life isn't, you're not happy, and something definitely needs to change. So the awareness is the key point here. That is vital. You need to be aware that something needs to change in order for it to change. You may not know yet what it is, but you have become aware, and that's the main point there. The third stage is the chaos stage. It's where we enter into the confusion, the distress, the fear, the out of control. Something feels out of control. Our life feels out of control. Something's happening, and we're pushing forward now with the change. We've gone from awareness, and we're pushing forward and thinking, okay, I have to make this change. I have to make this change now. Change becomes a bit more urgent. And in fact, a lot of times when people are in this part of it, the chaos stage, they feel, they get impatient and they want change to happen, and they want it to change very quickly. And that can be, a downfall sometimes, because you don't take time to review, well, what exactly it needs to change. And therefore we can make, you've heard of the midlife crisis. Some people have a 25-year crisis, a quarter life crisis, or you get beyond raising your children or something, and then suddenly you're divorcing your partner. Something's not right, something needs to change, but then you start making some very rapid changes in your life, and sometimes you live to regret that. Okay, not necessarily, but sometimes you do, because you don't take the time now to review your life and to say, okay, where exactly, maybe it isn't, the divorce isn't what I want really at the end of the day. The next phase we go into is the new options phase. And this is where, we see that there are options. We see that there are things that we can do. We see that, there are paths we can take in life, and that change can happen in smaller increments, or maybe it is a life change that you need to make. You just become very aware of what it is you want to change, and you see those solutions. You see the solutions, or the points you need to do, or the actions you need to take. The next part is it's called the practice phase. It's the 5th stage, and it's called the practice stage. You've made some changes, you've taken some solutions on board, you're taking those small steps. But this stage is the next vital stage. This is the second one I was talking about. A lot of people can revert back to their comfort zone. to the old comfort zone and say, no, 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 you get fearful again, and I can't do this, I can't push through. We need to practice, but we need also patience and to give ourselves time. That's the vital information there. Patience and giving yourself time. And practice, 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 practice is important. Keep going. You cannot build a new habit overnight, literally overnight. It will take probably 90 days for a new habit to kick in, at the very least. But if you're making a big life change, and I'm talking about just changing, quitting smoking or doing something or taking up a new form of exercise or something like that, that's a new habit. But if you're making a much larger change, that, you're going to go through a whole emotional roller coaster there. And you need to give yourself time, and you need to be very patient with yourself. But just also be aware when you've entered the 5th stage of practice, that you're nearly there. You're nearly at that final stage. So, being aware of that final, of being at stage 5 can give you the momentum you need to keep going, because stage 6 is integration. It's our new comfort zone. We've accepted that this is our new life. We've accepted the new things we want to do, and we are comfortable with them. We're no longer consciously practicing them. They have become the new norm. And how I can illustrate that point is, it's like learning to drive a car. Okay, in the 5th stage, when you're learning to drive the car, you're very conscious of everything that's going on around you. You're very conscious of the gear shift. You're very conscious of your speed. You're very conscious of everything. And then we get to the integration stage, which is stage 6 and change, and everything becomes automatic habit. We're not as conscious about changing the gears, or we're not as conscious of things that are happening. We're not. Everything is more automatic. It's an automatic behavior. And that's what we do when we learn to drive a car or brush our teeth or anything like that. It's an automatic. You automatically do it. When you learn to walk, there was the awkward stage you went through, and then it's an automatic habit now to do that. So integration is the final stage, and that's our new comfort zone. So in taking on all those stages, what is the advantages of knowing that? The advantages of knowing all those stages is to recognize exactly where you're at this moment in time along that 6 levels of, those 6 stages. Where am I at? If you know where you're at, you can build that patience, you can allow for time, and you can allow for acceptance. You can allow for acceptance of where you're at this moment in your life and what you're trying to achieve. You can also build, awareness of what you want to change. You can accept that, at stage 3 in the chaos phase, you're going to be fearful. You're going to feel out of control. You're going to, maybe get distressed, and things aren't going the way you are. If you can recognize that, if you can stop and think for a moment, if you can use meditation perhaps, if you could use your journal, you can actually say, oh, I'm at stage 3 here. I'm at stage 3 of the chaos. Of course I'm going to feel out of control. Of course I'm going to feel fearful. Of course I'm going to be, distressed and anxious and enter, maybe depression or something like that. But I know this will change. This is not going to last forever. I will move forward. I will see that there are solutions. I can ask for help. And that's the point. If you're stuck at, you feel a bit stuck at the chaos phase, stage 3, then you can ask for help. Whether that's from building, your support team that you should have around you all the time, deleting maybe the negative people in your life, or getting professional help, if that's what it needs, to move you on to the next stage of, seeing the options, seeing that you have options and change can happen. You basically at this, I would see this as a means of learning and growing, this whole thing. You can know that you know that you're nearly there. You know that you are that you can change what is happening in your life, and you can become empowered by all this information. That's a highly advantageous stage. If you wanted to review your life, if you feel that something has got to change, or you feel at this point, we're only at the end of January, and you may say, oh, I failed yet again at my my New Year's resolutions. It's not too late. I hate the fact that they're New Year's resolutions, because people think I can only make them at the start of the year, but change can happen at any time of the year. And to use I did a journaling talk and blog before Christmas, and it was all about journaling, but at the end of that I listed out about 32 questions. And I think if it was me, and this is what I would do, I would actually I would take that time, I would take the next month to look at those questions. Try taking one question a day and answering them. Don't get hung up on them. If you find that one of the questions you're not ready to answer it yet, or it doesn't apply to you, just skip it and go to the next question. There is certainly plenty of them there for you to help you do a review of your life. And doing that review will actually help you with that stage 3, that chaos stage, because it will ease your anxiety, ease your the distress you may have, your fears you may have, because it gives you your why. Why am I changing? It's very important. It gives you an awareness. As I said, we need to get that awareness. That's stage 2. These type of journaling questions introduce that foreign element for you. If you feel, if you're at that stage 1 where you don't know, you're unsure, something wants to, you want something to give and you want something to change, but you're not quite sure. So then, doing these journaling questions can help you achieve that. I've listed out 9 steps at the bottom of the blog. The only thing I'd say to you is, okay, they are steps 1 to 9, but you can swap them around, and it's fairly obvious that some of them can be swapped around, not all of them. I think I put the team of supporters towards the end, but you can always build your team of supporters before you do anything else, and that, as I've said before, is vital. You have to have your team of supporters. You can do your basic self-care, you can do your life review, you can do your journaling questions, and do all that before you enter into or make any decision to change anything in your life. In fact, that will give you a much stronger power base to take control of your life. You will enter into the phase of reviewing your priorities and deleting negative people and building your team of supporters and having that basic self-care, and maybe doing some relaxation techniques such as meditation and take up some sort of yoga or some sort of Tai Chi or something like that that's going to relax you and de-stress you before you enter into any of the stages of change. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope people find that this helpful to them. And I will be talking to you next week. I think I'm doing women. I'm making it's stress in women, so it's specifically aimed at women. But anybody can watch anybody could read it, or anybody could watch it. I'm doing stress reduction for women on next Monday's blog, and I'll be back on next Wednesday to talk to you about that. So I will leave it there, and thank you all for listening, and thank you, Deirdre, and to all the others who are who tune in regularly. And I will see you all again next week. Thank you.